The Zodiac Killer is one of the most enigmatic and feared figures in American criminal history. Active mainly in Northern California during the late 1960s and early 1970s, this unidentified serial killer is linked to at least 5 confirmed murders between 1968 and 1969, although he claimed to have killed as many as 37 people in various communications with the media and police. The saga of the Zodiac began on December 20, 1968, with the murders of 2 high school students, Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, on their first date. They were parked on a secluded road on the outskirts of Vallejo, California, when they were shot and killed. This initial act of violence was the beginning of a horrifying spree that would grip the San Francisco Bay Area in fear for years. On July 4, 1969, the Zodiac struck again, targeting another young couple, Darlene Ferrin and Mike Mageau, in a similar setting in Vallejo. Mageau survived despite serious injuries and provided a description of the attacker. But it was the killer's next move that began a twisted game of cat and mouse with local newspapers and law enforcement. In August 1969, a series of letters sent to 3 local newspapers, the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner, included details of the crimes that had not been released to the public, proving they were from the killer. Most chillingly, each letter was signed with a distinct symbol, a circle with a cross through it, which would become known as the mark of the Zodiac. The letters also contained complex ciphers, with the killer claiming they contained his identity. Only one of these ciphers was definitively solved, revealing a disturbing message in which the killer expressed his enjoyment of killing because it would make the victims his slaves in the afterlife. The most brazen attack occurred on September 27, 1969, at Lake Berryessa in Napa County. Wearing a black executioner-style hood with the Zodiac symbol on it, the killer approached Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard with a gun while they were picnicking. He tied them up and then stabbed them repeatedly. Shepard died from her injuries, but Hartnell survived and was able to describe the attack. The final confirmed murder took place on October 11, 1969, in San Francisco. Cab driver Paul Stine was shot in the head at point-blank range. Initially thought to be a routine robbery, the case was quickly linked to the Zodiac after he mailed a piece of Stine's blood-stained shirt to the Chronicle. Over the years, the Zodiac Killer continued to taunt police and newspapers with letters, postcards, and cryptic ciphers, bragging about his crimes and suggesting future ones. His communications eventually ceased in 1974, leaving many questions unanswered. Despite extensive investigations, the identity of the Zodiac Killer remains unknown. The case is still open in several jurisdictions, and it continues to be a subject of fascination in popular culture and among amateur sleuths. Advances in forensic science, particularly DNA technology, give hope that the killer may yet be identified, much like the recent resolution of the Golden State Killer case. The story of the Zodiac Killer remains one of the most perplexing and disturbing in the annals of American crime, a reminder of the dark potential of human nature and the limits of law enforcement.
Cryptic ciphers. The Zodiac sent multiple complex ciphers to newspapers, claiming they contained his identity. Most of these ciphers have never been solved, adding a layer of mystery and challenge to the case. Bizarre costume. During the Lake Berryessa attack, the Zodiac wore a black executioner-style hood with his symbol, a circle with a cross through it, painted on it. This distinctive and theatrical costume is unusual for serial killers, who typically aim to blend in. Public communication. The Zodiac frequently communicated with newspapers and police, sending letters that included threats, taunts, and more ciphers. His direct engagement with the media and his apparent desire for public attention are highly unusual traits. Unconfirmed claims. The Zodiac claimed to have committed 37 murders in his letters, but only 5 confirmed deaths are attributed to him. His habit of claiming more victims than can be confirmed has led to extensive debates and investigations. Symbol adoption. He created his own symbol, which he used in his letters and claimed as his identity. This personal emblem became a notorious part of his legacy. Unsolved identity. Despite extensive investigations and the advancements in forensic science, the Zodiac Killer's identity remains unknown. This unresolved mystery continues to intrigue both professional detectives and amateur sleuths. Final disappearance. The Zodiac's communications abruptly stopped in 1974, with no definitive conclusion or capture. His sudden disappearance from public interaction leaves many questions unanswered and makes the narrative feel unresolved.